Hello again and welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me in video 2 of our Mama's Throne series or supported prenatal posture series. So if you've already forgotten or you didn't watch last week's video, go ahead and pop backwards, check out the how-to video on how to set up this supported posture, what all props and accoutrements you might need for today's prenatal supported postures. So once you've got your mama's nest or your mama's throne all set up, you've got your additional support for arms and legs on either side of your mat. Just like we finished our video last week, we're going to start our video this week in a supported bound angle posture, or a Supta Baddha Konasana posture. So, our tush is going to come to that blanket right at the base of our bolster. Our feet are going to come together, our heels nice and wide. Those extra blankets are going to come under your thighs or under your knees. And we're going to lay back nice and easy along the length of that bolster. Blocks for your arms can find any direction that feels good. And your hands can rest forearm down or forearm up, whatever feels right for you. From here in this bound ankle posture, we want to do our best to release your low back. That low back gets so much work and so much over curve in our pregnancies because our bellies are pulling us forward. So see if you can really let it soften down and relax down into the bolster. And then think about finding a good amount of length between your ears and your shoulders. So our neck is allowed to become nice and long as well. And then because we're supported, because we have knees and elbows taken care of here, we really can let the weight of our arms and legs go. So once you find this posture, just give yourself 5 to 10 big breaths, whatever feels good for you, more or less if you like. If you want, you can close your eyes down and we're going to do 5 big breaths together. So big breath into our belly and out our nose. And we'll take 4 more. Last 2. From here, we're going to slow motion bring our thighs back together. You might even use your hands to help you out. Bring your feet to the mat. Good. And we're going to take those 2 blankets that were supporting our thighs. We're going to scooch them out of the way for just a little bit. And we're going to take our feet as wide as we can, just a little wider than the mat, and let those knees drop into center. So we're taking the opposite action that we were just in that bound ankle, and coming internal for an internal rotation in our constructive rest. So you might find your toes need to scooch a little further away or scooch a little further in to get comfy. We want to find a space where you can rest thigh on thigh, knee on knee, and almost make a little W shape with your legs. Once you've found it, arms can come back to your blocks. Again, think about lengthening through the back of your neck, through your ribs, through your pelvis. That nose can point straight to the ceiling. Make sure toes and fingers are loose. And we'll give ourselves 5 more big breaths right here. eyes, blink gently open. We're going to keep our feet as wide as they are, but now we're going to let both knees start to fall towards one side. Now when you get here, you might find it's a little comfier to bring that blanket back under your bottom knee, and maybe even take one under your opposite foot so we get a little lift in that ankle. It totally depends. You can try it all on to size and see what feels good, but this should be a pretty intense stretch in this outer band or outer hip of your top hip, so the opposite one of the direction you've dropped. If it's too much, take your other ankle under this knee so that you get a little more support. And again, let yourself soften down, relax onto that bolster, and take 5 big breaths. Make sure your jaw's not clenching. Make sure your forehead's not clenching. Make sure your throat is nice and loose. And we'll take one more. Slowly, slowly, we'll bring our knees back to center. Again, you might use your hands to help you out. Start with those feet as wide as your mat and let them drop the other direction. So if you want, blanket can come under that foot. Heel can come under your knee. Blanket under bottom knee. Again, you'll take this deep stretch through your outer band. This is just a much deeper internal rotation on those hips and on that pelvis. So it might be an interesting sensation at first. It's not something we get a lot of, especially in our yoga practice and in our daily lives. But it is important that we're not just always externally rotating, that we're trying to do both so that those legs can move in all directions. We'll give it 5 big breaths. And again, we'll gently bring knees back to the ceiling. Bring feet back to the mat. If you've scooched off your bolster a little bit, you can adjust. And again, those blankets are going to come a little bit out of the way. And we are going to take a half happy baby. So we're going to keep one foot planted on the earth. We're going to let our other knee bend. You can hold behind your thigh and draw backwards. You can hold the outer edge of your foot, draw back and up, or you can take 2-piece fingers around your big toe. Whatever feels best for you today is totally fine. We want to think about this knee moving towards that block that was just supporting our arms. And we want to think about our shoulder blades staying planted on the bolster and our heel drawing up to the ceiling if it can. If it can't, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. We'll get there eventually, or we won't. It doesn't matter. This opposite leg can stay right where it is, but be mindful that this knee continues to point to the ceiling and it doesn't fall outward like a bound ankle. We want to stay nice and stable in this pelvis if we can. If it feels good for you, this leg can stretch out long for a little deeper pull, deeper sensation. Again, give yourself about 5 big breaths. Two more. From here, we'll slowly set that leg down. Maybe give yourself some little mini windshield wipers if that feels good, or stretch that leg long. Circle out your ankle. We'll take our opposite side. So plant down through the knee. You just have to draw your other knee towards your armpit. You can hold behind your thigh or reach forward for the outer edge of your foot or your big toe. Notice how the shoulder wants to creep up by your jawline or by your ear. Instead, see if you can pull it down and back. Again, lots of space between ears and shoulders. That heel is going to lift towards the ceiling, and our knee here is going to point towards that block we were just resting on. Opposite knee stays lifted or stretches out long, whatever feels good for you. Take 5 big breaths. One more. And slowly, slowly let your legs set down. Again, maybe find those little windshield wipers. Maybe extend and circle. And then we're going to come to a pigeon pose. So we're going to take one ankle, cross it over your opposite knee, and make a little triangle or a little square with your thighs. This is as far as we're going to get here. If you want a little more out of this pigeon, take the same hand as foot you just lifted, press into your thigh or into your knee. Make sure you're flexing this foot that's up. Just give yourself that nice stretch. And we'll take 2 more breaths. And again, we'll unwind, loosen toes and ankles, and take your opposite side. Opposite ankle crosses over. In a perfect world, we might think about our shin becoming parallel between the ceiling and the floor. If it's not there, if that ankle needs to be a little higher, that's totally fine. When you're ready, that palm finds your thigh or finds your knee and just gently pushes away as much or as little as you're comfortable with. Keep a strong flex in this lifted foot. Find that nice long stretch. Three more big breaths. And we'll let that go, circle it out, shake it out however you need. And we're going to set up for our supported Shavasana. So from here, we're going to take those 2 rolled up blankets that were under our knees. And one's going to stay under our knees as we stretch out nice and long. And then the other one is going to find its way under our ankles as we do the same. So those legs have lots of love. You might have to scooch them back with you as you lay back. Again, forearms find your blocks. Back of your neck is nice and long on the bolster. And we start to let our toes drift outward on a little turnout or a little diagonal. Feel the weight of your legs soft, soft, soft into those blankets. Feel that little bit of pressure of your tailbone into the blanket or into the mat. Feel that belly breathing and beating with your baby's heartbeat. Feel your own heartbeat right in your chest. Feel your fingers relax and the weight of your wrists and elbows. Bring your nose to the ceiling and let your eyes close down. For this Shavasana, we'll stay here for 10 big breaths, but know that you are welcome to stay here for as long as you need. Relax your jaw and your eyes and your ears. Relax the skin through your scalp. And feel that weight of the back of your head really pressed into the bolster. And let your breath start to slow down. Notice any movement, any wiggle or sensation from your baby. And give yourself 3 more full rounds of breath. When you're ready, take a little wiggle to your fingers and your toes. Maybe draw your hands to your belly and gently bring your feet to the mat. Give yourself a big stretch, arms overhead. And then bring your palms right by your hips and use them to help you sit up nice and easy. Now, that was just a little teaser of some of those supported postures. You are more than welcome to sit into them for as long as you need. Typically in a restorative practice, that can be anywhere from 3 to 10 minutes. Because we're working with prenatal, I would shy away from that 10-minute mark and let 3 minutes be your max. Like we said in the last video, that relaxing gets really, really intense. So sometimes resting into these postures for too long can overstretch us and pull those joints out of whack. But if it feels good, you're having a good time, you know your body, take what you need here. It is more about what feels right for you in your heart, your body, and your baby than about anything you read or watch online. Believe me. Let me know which of those postures you preferred, how you felt in each one, how you're feeling now after slowing down for a little bit on the mat. And then please, please, please come back and join us next week while we take a guided meditation to let us feel a little more connected to these sweet little beads inside of us. May the divine light in me honor the divine light in you. Namaste.